Hello, everyone. Well, welcome back to another episode of Communities Unite. And today it's going to be a really cool episode. Today's topic is autism, and it's going to be a really cool group episode today with Nicholas from the lovely Canada, and Samuel here in the UK. And
Ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Samuel. And it's going to be great to speak to these great people. We're going to get to know them a little bit more because with Nicholas, it was a bit a while since Nicholas came on. I think it was about 2021, wasn't it? Or sometime
Yes.
then.
Yeah, I believe it was 2021. And yeah, it's been a while, but I can honestly say I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah. So, would you mind to do a little introduction of yourself, Nicholas?
Absolutely. My name is Nicholas Voitas. I am a photographic artist. I am from Nova Scotia, Canada, and I'm based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And my artwork, I create photographic art of landscapes. I use the landscape as a means of expressing myself. I photograph places I feel close connections to and ones that I feel mirror my moods. And it comes very much from the heart. It's all based on what I feel deep from within.
I think that's really, really
Fantastic.
good.
Years ahead of you, Nicholas. Well done. You too. Awesome.
Mm. Yeah, it's really great work. Because I know you've sent in loads of work you've done, Nicholas, and it's very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. It comes straight from the heart.
Yeah, it has to, doesn't it?
True,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. So thank you, Nicholas, for coming back. Ago about 2 years ago, since you last came on. So it's great to have you back on again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And Samuel was last on last year. I think it was about maybe it might have been around this time of year, perhaps, that you was on
I
here.
believe it was, yeah. Since being on the first podcast with you last time, made it such an important experience to represent autism to another. It got me the chance to represent how unique people with autism can be intelligent one way, but instead of her showing some rare sign of challenging experience of their behaviours problems, it almost shows me that representing myself to you gives me a voice to spread out to everybody for the first time who's watching at home and out and about in the UK and around the world too.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on again, Samuel, because
Thank you, Mason. Much appreciated to be back on this show again.
yeah, because the last time you spoke about lots of really good stuff about like a book that you've done, like ITV work, and it's really cool stuff.
Oh, bless you. And if anyone doesn't remember the book in my last interview with Mason for the first time, here it is. Here it is for the first time only for views at home.
The autistic side of love, written by Samuel.
That's me.
Yeah, it might be another Samuel,
That's
but
me.
yeah. Great work, great work. Um,
Thank you, Mason.
yeah. So yeah, it's crazy, guys, because like it's been a year since you, Samuel, and 2 years since Nicholas come on, and we're all here together to speak about autism. Um, so I guess, guys, like within within like your artwork, actually, Nicholas, have you got any new like pieces that you've been doing at the moment or recently?
I have, yes. I've actually this past summer I created uh, it was a piece. It was photographed in Constance Bay, Ontario, and it was down by the beach. The title was Love. It had a bunch of different colors, mostly orange. It was during a storm, and I it's interesting. I always think to myself when I look at that image, I'm hoping that the person who sees this image knows just how much they're loved, whether it be parents and children, whether it be friends, whether it be romantic partners. I just hope that looking at this image brings people the feeling of love and spreads this positive feeling in a world that is going through so much hardship at the moment. And that's my wish, is that this image is able to spread the feeling of love and positivity, and to make this world a better place.
Very inspiring efforts you had there, Nicholas. Congratulations on your excellent achievements. That make me smile a lot, according to Mason, and the good feelings to represent his confidence of autism to the future. You have a good, genuine example of that, so I'm proud of you for what you're doing, Canada.
Hey, I'm proud of you too, sir. Don't forget that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like it must take very much you have to concentrate a lot to do that, Nicholas, as well.
Absolutely. It not only is it a matter of not only a matter of pushing the actual button, but it's a matter of feeling deep down inside, seeing, then feeling what you feel deep down inside, these emotions deep from within. And then it's about, as you're working on these pieces, listening to music to give you that feeling and to transfer what you feel deep down inside into that work.
Yeah, it is. It sounds. It sounds like you said by the beach. So, was you sitting on the beach while you were doing it?
That specific photograph, I was actually standing. At the time, I was walking my families and my dog, and I noticed the sky was turning pink. So I said, I wonder if there are any photographic opportunities down by the beach. I went down to the beach and I saw some of the sky, most of the sky was orange. It was, the reflections in the water were orange as well. And meanwhile, the other part of the sky was blue and pink. So there was a very nice contrast. And I was very amazed. I photographed it, and at the time I was very excited as well, because honestly, because I'd never seen anything like this before. And so I felt very proud to get this photograph. And as I said, it's my wish that seeing this photograph spreads the feeling of love in a world that is going through so much hardship and anguish and turmoil, especially in these days, and especially in the days of COVID.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Nicholas, very true.
yeah. I like the fact that you mentioned love, because, like love is it's a good topic for today, I guess, because like you're saying love of art, and then you've got Samuel with his book, and he's got it's love with his book. So it's good, really represented with autism.
Exactly true, Mason. Because not only is a good, successful book that touched my heart to everyone, but in fact, believe it or not, Nicholas, I don't know if you know this, but a friend of mine whom I used to know from a school once, all these years ago, now lives in Canada. She's actually got a copy of my book in Canada, and I think she was in love with it as well. So I give her huge credit for how much that book meant to her and her family. And in fact, not only that it raised so much acceptance and achievements of how many and how their books are raised so far in across the world, but in the Amazon UK, I know that it reached 8 5-star rating on this book, and that's why I'm so proud to be an inspirational author, despite being autistic and representing love beyond the autism itself.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. Autism is a superpower. It is a superpower, never a hindrance.
Exactly true, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Because old saying says, believe it or not, Nicholas, in my days, discrimination and autism is a painful combination to be facing from the past experience. Ever since I've had the same experience, I get the feeling why certain people with autism should not be tolerated with this sort of experience. I know how terrible that was, especially when it came to the past experience at my old college years ago. And I know that these sort of people with those sort of conditions, such as autism, wouldn't be tolerated in that sort of authorized manner. That's why I thought I remember saying why people with love is a bonus, but a major bonus is that you've got someone with autism from their hearts of love. It's an extra experience of who you fancy. Doesn't matter about what any sort of form of autism they got. The power of autism is just about encouraging yourself to reflect on how much love is making you feel passionate about who you love mostly. Doesn't know about anyone else's decisions. What matters is you've got the love ahead of you with your autism and someone you love as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah, because it is a power, isn't it? Like that we all have. Like you say, I completely agree because I guess like there will be a time in our life where we don't think that maybe when we were younger or something. But as we get older, I think we've learned more of what it is and that it's good. It's good. Like we wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't think that. So
Bless you.
yeah,
I totally agree because if I wouldn't be here in the first place, I would have been Specsavers in the first place if I didn't have autism myself. But the truth of the matter is, being an inspirational person with autism is a special five-star rating opportunity to be representing myself as a bonus author rather than just being an inspiration itself. But I want to give any facts about why autism should be loved by everybody here and around the world, rather than just in Canada, in the UK. The experience, people should need to realise that there's always been acceptance of autism. As I've discovered, when some people here in Wales, where I live, called me, and surprisingly, an autistic ambassador one day when I was representing my book to anyone who on my first anniversary on my book in 2022.
definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely. Couldn't agree more there, Samuel. But
Thank you.
like it's good that you'll continue doing great work for autism, like raising awareness, acceptance, because it is very important we continue to do that because like you make very good friends. Like I was only saying the other day that most of my friends have got autism themselves, so we must be doing something right. Like having lots of maybe some good friendships within autism.
God bless you and your lovely autistic friends. It doesn't matter how many friends they got, they're proud of what they got to know you along the way, including myself and the handsome Nicholas.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Nicholas, from Canada.
Yeah, I love Canada, believe it or not. It used to be my favourite things I would imagine going, but I would imagine how lovely it would be. Apart from the cold weathers and the lovely maple syrup I've experienced trying, Canada's always the best place to go.
Mm.
Thank you.
Sorry, Nicholas, I didn't mean to wake you up. It's me being a donkey.
Yeah, yeah. So I just thinking about food. Do you have a favorite food, guys, or do you just like food in general?
Ooh, that's a hard question. My favourite food here in the UK, you can disagree or wouldn't agree more. My favourite food is obviously, I don't know about you and Nicholas, it's KFC, fish and chips, and also making homemade recipes like homemade pizza dough out of 2 ingredients.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah, for me, it's usually it's I enjoy pasta. I enjoy poutine. I enjoy milk. A lot of dairy products. As I said, pasta is the go-to food for me. I enjoy curry and Indian foods. I enjoy Chinese food. I enjoy a lot of different foods.
Well, I think that's a good combination I found. Believe it or not, I also love Indian food, but most of the Indian food is spicy hot. According to Robin Williams, when you it's damn hot. That's what Robin Williams used to say from Good Morning Vietnam, in case you didn't know the film well.
Yeah, I like I like pasta as well. I like noodles. I actually had that today.
Oh, lucky
uh,
you. I don't know
yeah,
about anyone else, but I'm more to being a pasta person myself in the future.
yeah, yeah. It's very nice. Like most things are really nice. Um, I like what else do I like? I need that thing that I find that's good. Really. I think when you have noodles or pasta, it makes you really full. Um, but when you have them or like rice or anything like that, it just makes you really full. But it's good when it makes you full because you feel like you're not eating a lot sometimes.
Bless you, Nicholas and Mason, sorry. But the truth of the matter is, I love food in certain ways because how much energy it can give you so much often into your system. But believe it or not, I'm also doing things soon after your interview with you, Mason, last time. I'm beginning to do something incredibly important after leaving my charity, which is in Carmarthen, of course, to focus on recipes, raising funds for a very important school I know go to the most until 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering what I'm doing with what I'm doing with the foods I'm making, long story short, if in case of otherwise, the recipes I'm making, half of those, most of the percentages of the food goes to my new funding project, which is called the School Fund or the Treat Up School Fund, which is a specialist school which is held originally in Great Essex since 1960s. And it's a specialist school. So I remember being there as a student from 2006. And ever since being a student, I didn't know what the school was until I got further out on my problems and my educational help. I would have had support from headmaster and from local tutors assistants. I managed to get out of my problems from my autism reflection, if I could correctly say, anyone's watching. And soon after I left the school, I said in 2016, I heard that when the pandemic broke out, I heard that the school was facing financial problems. So what I'm doing here in Wales, I'm now doing a very special project funding that certain markets nowadays called market help, which I usually call at home, where I raise funds from the Treat Up School Fund to help get the school efforts going because of how they used to support me as I was a student there years ago. But as a student, it's not always necessarily just treetops, but they also have a little building called the Free School, which is they basically built up since 2019 until the pandemic broke out. And their mind was to consider helping those with free students and families. And they, in fact, got a new library building in progress, but they were just delayed following the outbreak. And that's why I was honoured to help the school for their work.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, Samuel.
Yeah, the recipes I do, Mason and Nicholas, are basically homemade homemade recipes such as treats, such as cookies, blueberry cupcakes. you don't know what blue velvet means. It basically means that it's like red velvet, but in the sort of a blue or chocolate color.
Yeah, I do like blueberry cupcakes.
Oh, it's all right. I let you off then with a lovely pinch of salt.
Yeah.
And all those recipes I do, all the donations for those special recipes, etc., such as the cookies and the blue velvet cupcakes, all of goes to the school funding, which is we save from Wales to the school's receptionists. So that way, if the people who go to school can get urgent help from staff and B, B, a supporters who can help students with learning difficulties, challenging behaviours, and autism, can reflect on their experiencing needs, if I can correctly say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good work there, Samuel.
Thank you.
Um,
It
um,
does seem time consuming, but the reason I want to do this sort of effort soon after leaving the charity was because being autistic, as I remember saying to ITV News report years in 2020, was that I might have to agree with this one because I like this one. I'm giving an acceptance and a message across to many very important people to realise that not many people would know that people with autism can't do things in reality to their opinion, but they can definitely do things for real in the other.
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very good to raise awareness for autism because you can raise it in all sort of ways. You can raise it in cooking, you can raise it in art, you can raise it doing this. There's so many different ways, and I think it's really good when people have certain jobs, perhaps, or just do certain things in it because you can raise awareness with it about anything really. Like talking about it like we are today, or just like cooking. We could do cupcakes or rate to autism or autism charities that you're passionate about, or any charities you're passionate about. So it's really good doing that because it just helps raising awareness and it's one of those things and not everyone knows what autism is as well, which it can be a little bit surprising in 2023, but there are still people out there who haven't got a clue what it is. So it's good to raise awareness.
And of course, like Nicholas was saying about his photographic techniques he has in his inspirational experience, anyone can be certainly proud of what they do for their experience, as I discovered when I was doing my book readout in 2020, as I remember saying just then. And it gives the acceptance that people with autism are certainly unique in their personal ways. And it's like me and Nicholas, of course, I have a great exception to this because once again, many people don't realise that they think autism could be a joke, but they're not in this serious matter because the power we represent autism is about showing what sort of skills they got to show that the people who have different opinions are wrong for making mistakes of one another, but they can certainly get the glimpse of what autism means afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the good things about autism is that we have certain skills about certain things. So perhaps Nicholas's art and analysing very good pictures as well. And Samuel might like be cooking or writing books. Um, and mine is it can be doing this perhaps, but I do like I like to talk about hobbies that I have to people to people who like them as well. Because sometimes I may not realise if I'm talking about someone who might be getting bored of it, but in my mind I don't care if they get bored. I just talk about it anyway.
Well, I totally understand, Mason, because sometimes it's not just about boldness or getting to tell the stories for real. It's about how you're expressing things from the heart, about why people with autism can be certainly expressed about representing about what sort of things they like to do, or other things they could show secretly in their own personal talents. Like, for example, I also, ever since I made the book, I'm currently making it into a film project, which would be represented hopefully by the spring, and which is based on some of the scenes you can recognize in the book, but we would be in video format.
Okay, so you'll be making it into a visual format.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, so it will be available on YouTube hopefully eventually by the spring. But as always, as soon as after this meeting, I'll let you know when the film will be released very soon.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because I think this episode it will get released in the spring, so perhaps it might get released at a similar time to when it does get released.
Yeah, well, I bet you look forward to seeing it, Mason and Nicholas. And I don't know if you've seen the film of the book, sorry, but it gives some inspirational facts about love, Autism style. So if you don't know what the book's about, sorry, specs over for me. The book's available in Amazon, in UK, and in Canada too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just just a reminder to anyone maybe, because it's been a little while since you talked about the book, Samuel, and you was on here last. Do you want to just say a little bit about what the book is about again?
Of course, for the first time, Nicholas, you're about to review my glimpse of the first book. As you can see on this top, the autistic side of love. In the autistic side of love, it tells a story based on a slight surrealist true story based on my loving relationship on me and my girlfriend. In the book, it tells a story about Marcus Evans, who had a lot of probably scary experience when he didn't want to face love in the future after his ex broke up with him, sorry, after he was found out that she was cheating behind his back before she did dump him. And that made him more isolated inside of his confidence. But he would love to fall in love again. But by the time the pandemic struck, he isolated more further, feeling agitated, stressed, and feeling sorry inside, and wanted to get him to get more stress out of himself. But there was no luck about until he bumped into a lovely girl who he recognized in the past, named Christine McLeod, and she also recognized Marcus both from their school periods before their separate home divisions. Together, they ended up in love, learning each other's problems and their needs, and getting the efforts to learn that they can live as one. This is the first time I've written this book since after I was the ITV fundraiser winner for the Pride of Britain's 2020. And ever since I made the book, it touched my heart completely. And I think personally, this book should be, according to my friend of mine in America, a best book, bestseller, if I could correctly say. Sorry.
Yeah, that sounds very
It
good.
was the first time it was self-published to Amazon since 2021, and since it was on Amazon, I so far got the book rating reach 8 5-star ratings above.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I
it's good.
think this,
It's good you're gonna make it a visual though, Samuel.
pardon, sorry, Nicholas. Oh no, sorry, Mason. Sorry, Nicholas.
It's good that you're gonna make it visual as well.
Yeah, because I want to make it into a film, and the reason I want to do it visually was because being autistic represents my original talents, but before I wanted to be an author myself. And I wanted to show anyone around either Canada, Australia, New Zealand, you name it, how much talent I got since I was making films since I was 8 years old, and wanted to show how much bonus I could achieve mostly.
Yeah, yeah. Look forward to seeing it when you when it's all released. And I think Nicholas is as well. So it's gonna be really cool.
Thank you. I bet that make your heart touched mostly, you two.
Yeah, yeah. So Nicholas, so within your art, so have you got any future kind of plans for anymore?
Well, there are a few things. Actually, I'm going to be continuing. I continuing my landscapes of Constance Bay, the Woodlawn area, of things, as well as I've also done photographic artwork for mental health advocacy. Speaking of anxiety, and down the road, I'm aiming to do some more of that and direct it in a more positive manner, showing recovery. And it's interesting because there have been times where in the past, when I've become frustrated, I've said to myself, I thought to myself, why do I have a defected mind? And then I think to myself, defected? How can you say that? How can you say a mind that creates such emotionally driven, beautiful artwork is bad? How can you say a mind that gives so much hope to others who have none is bad? How can you say a mind that shows persistence through hardship in his art is bad? And I think to myself, no, my mind is not defected. It is different. And there are times where some senses are dulled, others are greatly enhanced. I may not always know I may not always recognize facial expressions. However, my artwork, my creativity and artistry is sparked and boosted now more than ever before, thanks to my autism. And I'm always out there in this world every day trying to give my very best and to complete these tasks with passion, whether it's my photographic artwork or my auto detailing, completing these tasks with passion, with care, and with love. And I believe that when we complete these tasks with passion, with care, and with love, we unlock these unique abilities, these different ways of doing things, these different ways of thinking of things, thinking outside the box. And when we do this, that's when the real magic happens. And that's when we can show the world what we really are. That is autism. And our job with autism, I find it's to discover our superpower, to hone it, to craft it, and to own it, and to use it for the greater good in this world. Use it to spread positivity in a world that is going through so much hardship and anguish, especially nowadays. We must spread the feeling of positivity in this world. And it is only when we do that that we can show this world what autism truly is: a superpower and never a hindrance. And I also find that there are times where I look at my favorite automobile and I look at myself and I see similarities. It's beautiful inside and out, and it handles very nicely and has a lot of power. Mechanically, it has some flaws, but is it still worth it? Absolutely. We as humans are imperfect. That's the entire notion of being human. We are imperfect, but are we still worth it? Absolutely. Everyone in this world, everyone matters. We all matter. And I'm finding that we have been given these gifts for a reason. It's time to use them. And it's time to show this world that within this podcast, as well as so many others out there, it's time we showed them the true faces of autism. The imperfect yet beautiful, brilliant minds that are capable of doing incredible things and that are worth discovering if one will listen. And we need to show this world the true faces of autism that is imperfect, yet beautiful and brilliant.
Yeah.
That's exactly amazing thing I've ever imagined hearing, Nicholas. You are an incredible, intelligent young man, and I'm proud of you.
Hey, I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of both you guys, and don't forget that.
Yeah. I'm proud of you too, Nicholas. Yeah.
As many people often says, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel for those who has autism can achieve whatever they want to achieve, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel for whoever wants to avoid the obstacles of autism are a bonus and amazing achievements. People were always proud of what they do. And like you, Mason and Nicholas are both genuine examples of these.
Thank you,
too,
Samuel.
You too.
No,
Yeah. And Nicholas, I was going to say, after your lovely speech, I think you would be very good if you did like speeches at like events and stuff like that, because I think everyone would listen.
Thank you. Well, it's interesting with autism. I'm finding, as I mentioned, everything is so sharpened. My artistry, my creativity, as well as writing skills. Yes, I've always done my very best with those, but it hasn't been until my late 20s that everything has just fully developed and fully it's sharpened. It's all sharpened. It's all uniquely sharpened. And I'm finding that that's all thanks to autism.
Thank you, autism.
God bless autism indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As many people says, it doesn't matter what the autism flare-ups do. What matters is the talents that should be an amazing bonus to others. Main important thing is the secret of learning people with autism from their problems or their needs, if I could say correctly, is that the flare-ups they have is when the nerves gives in. But the more power and excellent skills and academic efforts they can achieve are the main genuine examples of how intelligent people can be in the rare positive experience. It's like reaching the end of the line of getting the soccer ball into the goal post. That's one of those kind of examples of how people with autism are so unique for expressing how it doesn't matter what the discrimination can get you, if that makes a 12 hour sense. What matters, your autism has a good experience of what you're achieving from the past to present. And I always guarantee everyone with autism not only just special themselves, but also a very proud autistic champion for how much achievements they always want to improve what they will try to put into it.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. And it's exactly, I completely agree. And it truly is, it is a gift that neurotypical people just aren't blessed with. It truly is a gift.
Exactly true, Nicholas. Because in my mind, the reason why I'm proud to represent autism, as many people can sometimes call me ambassador, is that many people with autism, most of them can be often professionally great, but many rare people with autism can sometimes be having problems to understand most of the whole of the society situations and the complex of the society. So what I'm aiming to represent, like Mason is doing today, along with myself for my amazing skills of filmmaking and other sort of techniques skills like creating books on computers, the talent highlights of what you're doing for the great opportunity to experience to represent how much kind-hearted feelings can make you so proud of for their hard, kind, and inspirational manners.
Yeah, it is. Autism is a fantastic thing. But I didn't think that straight away. Like years ago, I thought it was bad, and because I didn't know enough about it, and this was like the early 2000s, where there weren't as much knowledge as there is now of autism, and more people know about it now. And but I'm gonna say not enough people know about it because there's always going to be people who don't know about it. But do you guys are you like it's let's say a person who doesn't know and you keep going to people who don't know what it is and you keep having to explain yourself. Are you happy to continue explaining yourselves, or did you get quite tired of kind of explaining yourself over and over again?
I'm not tired, but I don't know about anyone else. If I was tired, I would have gone to bed. Not me, but either way, old saying says we always be true survivors.
It's interesting. I've recently, well, I've noticed that once people get to know me, when I mention I have autism, to them it doesn't even matter anymore. They see for what is on the inside rather than any first impressions. They already know me for what's on the inside. And so most people are, I find they're very accepting of it. They understand, they're accepting, and I've noticed how a lot of people, they seem to warm up to you. They really seem to like you once, not only once you've shown them who you really are, but also when you show them the different side of you, autism. And I've noticed how people seem very curious. There are people who seem very curious and want to know more. And as I said, in terms of those that you've met, they've had long exposure to you. And that doesn't matter to them anymore. They are happy to know you, whether they know, they're happy to know you. And the autism, they're curious, they want to know more. I've had people want to know more about me, and I've had people become very interested. And once they find out, it's amazing the reactions I've gotten. There was even a gentleman at work who is a friend of mine, and he was very curious. He said, when did going the extra mile all start? And I explained to him it was when I started I've always done my very best in everything I do, but it started also while I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I was always going the extra mile. And he was very surprised, and he said to me too, he said, wow, how come you do all this extra stuff and for the customers? And I turned to him and I smiled, I said, autism. And I said, yes, he was very interested. In fact, he showed me a link of, there's a gentleman who is 13 years old who did amazing photography of cars. And these were little sets that he organized, and they looked like the real thing. But I noticed how people open up to you. Most people are very curious. Most people want to know more. And that is something to be very proud of.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely something to be proud of, because, like, if people want to know, that's really cool. Like, they want to know more, and they're just curious about it, because you do have those type of people out there who are just curious to hear about your story and, like, about it. Which is it's really good that you felt comfortable to explain a little bit about it as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
In fact, you are always right, because did you know, Nicholas, a little funny fact behind what you're saying? The true meaning of life can be a bonus, to be curious about what sort of techniques that people with autism can have, like you had, what you said just then. But apart from wonky donkeys or donuts, in other words, bad people who don't want to understand autism or don't really care the most, everyone with autism are deserve to be the best talent of their own. And you have shown everyone what you can achieve, like I did. So I'll be by your side for that in the future, Nicholas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, best luck for the future as well. Like, to both of you.
Like,
Mason.
Yeah. Because it's been great having you both back on again. On
I
on
want
the
to be at the show again, Mason. It's such a real experience to see you again.
Yeah, it's very good experience to see you guys
absolutely.
again.
Absolutely, Mason. Thank you for having us both back.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys know what I'm going to say now, but I'll say it anyway. But um, like, I'll ask you first, Samuel. If you want, everyone in mind, if you have any last thoughts or you have any advice or anything you want to say.
Well, my small advice for everyone who are looking at this video today: whenever you want to know logics of autism, such as me, Mason, or Nicholas, you must be careful what you're describing during or when you're about to have a conversation, because many people with autism can sometimes sometimes in a self-isolated experience away from the communicated life, or what you're questioning about autism or not. But the main important thing is we know that we don't judge people with autism, but the kind manners comes first, from when you want to have a nice conversation for those who are living with autism in around the world. And as I say, don't be nervous to speak to a person with autism. Be proud of what you're curious about, to learn more about autism and how many people were afflicted by that condition, from their curiosity to experience and amazing talents like Nicholas has. So, anyone watching at home, don't be nervous of who you're speaking to with autism.
Yeah, yeah. Got great advice there, and
Thank you.
Samuel. And yeah, and over to you, Sam. I was going to say Samuel, but Samuel's already gone. But um, over to you, Nicholas. Do you have anything, like, advice or last words?
Yes, I do very much. It's with these gifts, it's time to use these gifts. It's time to embrace our autism, and most of all, it's time to be proud of it. It's time to be proud of it. Let's go out into this world and let's use these gifts for the greater good.
That is very great. That is
Very
very
great.
that was really good. Yeah, because we're using them now, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We are using them now. So yeah, so thank you guys for coming on again.
Thank you very much, Mason. So to be back on the show again.
Yeah.
I hope to see you very all next time with another inspiring episode of Special Experience about autism in the future.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Samuel, and thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you very much. And thank you to anyone who listened today or even watched today's episode. And I will see you in the next episode. But yeah, thank you guys.